Meet Marcus and Elena. Marcus is Canadian. Elena is from Brazil. They've been together for 4 years, married for two. Genuine relationship, real love, no doubt about it. They applied for a spousal sponsorship. They did it themselves. And 8 months later, the letter came. Refused. The officer wasn't satisfied the relationship was authentic. That's it. That's the reason. Their real 4 year, no doubt about it relationship refused on paper. Elena, she cried for a week. Marcus was furious. How does a real marriage get refused? And now the fear sets in. Did they just ruin their chances forever? Is there a record now? Does a refusal follow them? So they do what everyone does. They immediately start a second application. Same documents, same approach, maybe a few more photos this time. Fire it back in fast before anything expires. And that right there is the second mistake. I'm Cosima McDonald, RCIC, and this is Spousal Sponsorship Files, where we walk through hypothetical cases, break down the red flags, and talk about exactly how they get addressed. Now, Marcus and Elena, as I was saying, are hypothetical, but a refused genuine relationship is one of the most painful files there is. And how you handle the second application decides everything. First, a refusal is not the end. Let me say that clearly. A spousal sponsorship refusal does not mean you can never try again. In most cases, you can reapply, but you cannot reapply blindly. Here's the mistake almost, unfortunately, everyone makes. They resubmit the same file. Slightly thicker maybe, but fundamentally the same application that already got refused once. Think about that. You're handling IRCC, the same case that already failed, and hoping for a different officer or a better day. This is not strategy. This is just a coin flip. Here's what a refusal file actually requires. 1. Get the reasons, the real ones. When you're refused, you're entitled to request the officer's notes, the detailed reasoning behind the decision. These are called GCMS Notes, Global Case Management System. You order them. You read exactly what the officer flagged. Was it thin communication evidence, a gap in the timeline, an inconsistency between forms? You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. The notes tell you precisely where the first file failed. Number 2, diagnose. Don't just add. Most people react to a refusal by adding more of what they already had. More photos, more of the same. But if the officer's concern was, say, a lack of evidence, you'd actually meet each other's families, then 100 more couple selfies fixes absolutely nothing. You have to answer the specific concern. Diagnosis first, then targeted evidence. Number 3, address the refusal head on in the new application. The second file cannot pretend the first one never happened. IRCC sees the history. Your new application and your letter of explanation needs to acknowledge that the previous refusal and demonstrate exactly what has changed and what new evidence answers the officer's concerns. You're not hiding the refusal, you're overcoming it on record. Number 4, consider whether reapplication is even the right route. Sometimes it is, but depending on the refusal, there may be an appeal option to the Immigration Appeal Division instead. Outland refusals often come with appeal rights. That's a completely different process from reapplying, and choosing the wrong one costs you months or your best shot. this is a fork in the road you do not want to just guess at. A refused file is not a first application with extra steps. It's a different kind of file entirely. It is built backwards, starting from why the first file failed. So, how does a hypothetical file like Marcus and Elena's end? Well, they order the GCMS notes. Turns out the officer's concern was specific. Their communication evidence was thin, and there was a gap in the timeline where they'd been apart for 6 months with almost nothing documented. The authentic relationship was never in question. The evidence was. So, second application, built correctly, they fill the gap. They explain the 6 months. They rebuild the communication record. They address the refusal directly in the letter of explanation. They answer the exact concern the officer raised. And there you go. Approved. Now, we have here the same couple, same marriage. The only thing that changed was the second file was built to answer the question the first file left open. Now, here's what I want you to take from this. A refusal is a diagnosis, not a verdict. It tells you exactly what was missing. Ignore it and resubmit blind, and you'll get refused again. Read it, understand it, answer it, and a genuine relationship gets its approval. But please, do not fire off a second application in a panic. That's how a fixable file becomes 2 refusals on your record. If you've been refused and you're staring at a second attempt, that's exactly the moment to get professional eyes on it. The link to book a paid consultation is in the description. We'll order the notes, we find out exactly what happened, and we build a file that answers it. As always, I'll see you next week on the next chapter.